What is going on, guys? Ranching Ridiculous here. I'm gonna finally be changing out those clutches on this brush hog. It's a little cooler than it normally is. That's why I have a hoodie on. You're still used to these summer temps, but I'm gonna do a quick, basically a tutorial on how to fix these on one, but then I'm probably gonna time lapse the rest. But I'll show you what we're doing. Like I said, oops, about broke my camera stand, broke my camera stand. Like I said, what we're gonna do is take off these nuts to this spring, pull this back, and go ahead and replace the clutches. So I got Milwaukee battery powered ratchet, 11/16 socket. Go ahead and make sure we're in the right direction, you know. You probably have to have a backup. I got the old trusty crescent wrench here. There's one. Two. Oh, Milwaukee ain't got enough power to do it. I'm pretty sure there is 8 of these bolts and nuts and springs. I'll have to double check, but I want to say there's 8 of them. Battery powered tools sure do make quick work. Like I said, here's your spring. That's what holds tension on your clutch. Some of these y'all may not be able to see just because the positioning of them, but it's the same concept all the way around. Just like that, we got all the bolts off. Gonna go ahead and finish pulling the springs. These bolts should just push right out. And just like that, we have it taken apart. And to Then we'll go ahead, get our new clutch on there. It won't take us very long. We should have to pull this nut off here. Let me get what size that is. Looks like it may be a 3/4. A little bit bigger than a 3/4. Bigger than a 13/16, maybe 7/8. All right, 7/8 it is. So you'll take that off. I had to get that. Nope, we got it. We got that nut off. This nut is just the nut that holds your shaft on. I'm gonna have to go get a little hammer and peck this bolt out. But we'll slide this off, replace both clutches, and then continue with the video. Just to kind of show y'all what's going on from this angle. So you'll have that bolt, that keeper bolt there to hold the shaft onto the gearbox. That's what we're about to peck out so we can pull this off, put a new clutch on. Here's your driveline assembly from your center gear shaft, or gearbox. We split that off. There's a clutch that goes between there, but there's another clutch that's got to go on there. That's why we're currently going to peck out that bigger bolt right there to get this shaft off. So I'm gonna set y'all back up in the stand and show y'all what I'm doing. I have a punch. I don't think I'm gonna need it. Just like that. Took really one good hit. Actually, I may be getting ahead of myself. I may need it. Oh, we got it now. Be careful, there is washers that you gotta keep up with. I don't really put them right there. But all it is a keeper stud. I say bolt, it's more like a stud. We're going to set that right there with our punch and our hammer. And now this shaft, or this hub assembly, slides off just like that. And this is what you're gonna be dealing with. Pull all these bolts out. We'll pull all these bolts out just like that. Split this, keep in mind the direction they went. That way you put them back on right. But what we're gonna go do is we're gonna go in here. Like I said, I gotta chop these down with the bench grinder because they are not the right size, because I didn't order the right parts. That's on me. But I'm gonna take these in here, grind these down a little bit. I might bring y'all along and show y'all what I'm doing. But that's what it will look like once you get that hub assembly off. But we're gonna go grind down these clutches real quick. All right, now that I got y'all in here, we have the old clutch disc, and as you can see, it's kind of hard, but as you can see, the new diameter, outside diameter, is just too big. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna hold this up here like this, turn on the bench grinder, and just grind these down to the diameter they need. I probably won't do that on camera because it's a boring task, but I'm gonna get this done and then we'll go back out there to the brush hog and continue our process. Alrighty, we have them shaved down to where they need to be, so we can go ahead and replace these. I'm gonna try to get y'all on a little bit better angle. That way y'all can actually see what's going on. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. Hopefully that that will work for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my other glove. So the way it works, you have this housing here. Oh, just making sure y'all can still see. But so this sandwiches on this like this right here. So what you want to do, take this off, put a clutch around here first. Then you want to take your plate and sandwich it on. So now you got one clutch there. And you want to put your bolts in first, because you cannot get your bolts in after you put this on. So you got to put these on first. And just to count for y'all, to let y'all know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I thought, there's 8 of them. Now that you got your bolts in and that sandwich back on there, you're gonna slide this back on. You're gonna take that stud and feed it through. Feed it through there. That locks that in place. Then you're gonna take your big nut and that washer I said, slide that on there. And then you're gonna screw your nut on. All this is a keeper to keep that locked on there. But now that we got that back on, time to switch our ratchet around to tightening. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our little ball peen hammer and kind of tap that stud in there. That way I'm not having to ratchet the stud all the way through. That's good to go now. Then we're gonna take our other clutch. Go ahead, get your socket set up on there. And like I said, it's 11/16 for the small bolts. And this one is just gonna set right in there like that. And I may have to move y'all. I don't know, I may be able to get it. But you're gonna take and grab your shaft assembly. And you're gonna try to, I may have to push these bolts back a little bit. Let me get these bolts pushed back first. Kind of like that right there. Kind of hard. Once you get one started, it'll be a whole lot easier. If I can ever get it started. There. Now that we got that one started, well, I said I did. Lots of patience. Just so I don't have to fight that again. I'll go ahead and put the spring and one nut. One spring and one nut. Now, I don't have to fight that all by myself. I have to back this off a little bit. Alrighty, now we're cooking. Go ahead and slide all your bolts through. We've got all our bolts through now. Now it's just time to put springs and nuts on. You may have to tighten them down a hair to get them all. You may have to get one on and then tighten it down so you can get the rest to fit. Like I said, it's pretty simple. It's one of the most simple things you can do if you have the right stuff at first. Now we got all those on. I'm probably gonna take one of my gloves off to put these nuts on, because it's just easier without having an extra layer. But just like that, you're gonna have your bolt through, spring, and then a nut. Like I said, all them springs are for is, as time goes on, you are gonna burn a little bit of this clutch material off. And that spring gives you the chance to tighten it up a little bit more. That way you're not having to just constantly replace clutches. But that's all our nuts on. We're gonna take our ratchet, our backed up crescent, and tighten these up. And like I said, you don't want these springs to be too tight, because then it won't allow it to slip. You want a little bit of gap. I can't remember the exact measurement, but there is a measurement. And you want to kind of tighten them like a car tire. You want to go one side then the other, because that it allows it to cinch down on opposite sides, where you're not just squishing one side. We got one bolt left. And I'm almost positive that is all of them. I think I got one left. Yep, that's all of them. So, the job is done. The job is done. This is what it's gonna look like, the finished project. You're gonna have a little bit of gap in between your springs, not clamped all the way down. You have your two clutches in there. Now we're ready to go brush hog. So that's the process of replacing one of these. It took me longer than I wanted to. I had to go cut down them clutches with the bench grinder, and it just, I mean, it's a longer process than you think. I want to say it probably took me no more than 25-30 minutes, but that's just part of it. I figured I'd make this video. Some people may have never replaced clutches before on brush hog, so I just wanted to give the opportunity to teach when I'm having to replace it myself. So this is part of it, and we're going to start doing some checking the tires, checking the fluid on the tractor, so we can go brush hog. So I'll in the next video we'll be doing tractor maintenance and going to brush hog. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like.